My friends, how are you? Grim here, and we are running back my favorite deck. At the moment, in Premodern, we are running back Wurmrock, Tempting Worm, BG Rock. Whatever you're calling it, we are playing it. Once again, no changes from the 75 that we have featured on this channel twice already, and indeed in a deck tech, so a lot of attention has been given by yours truly to this archetype for very good reason. We are maxed out on fun, and I dare say it's been performing quite admirably as well. So if you don't really know what I'm talking about, what's going on, what cards we're playing, links in the description below to the aforementioned videos. Speaking of links in the description, if you want to rent with Mana Traders, get 40% off. What a deal. Help out your boy. Link in the description to that as well. We also have Patreon and channel memberships. Who will be the very first channel member? We have none right now. That is okay, but if anybody wants to be the first, you can check that out as well. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing and subscribing. Without any further ado, it's time for a little more Tempting Worm action in Premodern. Let's do it. Alright, we got Duress, Treetop, Call of the Herd. What more do we need? Hopefully not much, because we don't have much more. But I think this is a keepable one in the blind. Okay, opponent with a double Duress. And the Rack in Sylvan Library, dude. Oh, man. And Rotting Giant, we're in the mirror match? We've got to take Library. Tempted though I am to take the Wreck, I think we have to take Library there and hope to be able to beat the Wreck or draw a Rack of our own to make that a little more even. Furnace, sure. It's no the Rack, is it? But, yeah. So opponent might get the Rack down here under discard. Or they might play Rotting Giant, but indeed it is the Rack. They found a Treetop as well. Yeah, it's not shaping up that well for us. I don't love Smother. It's just such a prime Duress target, but what are you going to do? We have to race, so we'll begin with an attack here. And that may well signal to the opponent that we don't care about the Duress still. Now, if they have nothing better to do, they'll still probably use it. And we know they can go Duress into Rotting Giant, if nothing else. Now they can't, because they've done something else, yeah. Okay, so no Rotting Giant? Huh. But they still Duress. Interesting. Yeah, unfortunate for us. And wouldn't you know it, we're just finding lands off the top. So all we can really do is try to be as efficient as possible. It's Call of the Herd time for the moment. But I don't think we're likely getting there. Like, if we rip our one of Naturalize for the Rack, that would be pretty sweet. Shy of that. Yeah, not sure. Not sure it's happening for the good guys here. But both players are the good guy, really. I mean... Smother. So I gotta turn off auto yields because I was auto yielded to the Rack, and I might have cracked Furnace in response to save a life and have a better turn. But this worked out pretty well for us because we'll just Smother, attack with Treetop, keep the Furnace around. But probably next turn we were supposed to do what I just said. Alright. It is unlikely, of course, that we can beat the rack in a race, but I think we're doing a pretty good job of attempting that. No treetop attack. A little scary, but maybe they're just on blocking duty. Alright. Exile, Duress. Exile, Rotting Giant. Draw Call of the Herd, sure. Take 2 from the rack. And draw Swamp as well. Alright. Elephant token attack. No effects from the opponent, huh? Okay, we take that. So I'm just deciding whether or not to play a swamp here. I think we do. I think with Treetop Village, I think with all the possibilities of what we could draw plus flashback next turn, I think we just rip off the Band-Aid insofar as the rack is concerned, and we just put our cards on the table, literally. Opponent's at 6, and oh, we get there? It's incredible, dude. Okay, they must not have had much in hand. I can't believe we won the mirror against the rack with our opener. That is kind of unlikely. But we did it. You'll love to see that one. Naturalizes. I think blackmail's good. Vendetta's decent. I think minimal sideboarding here is what I want. I'm not going to worry about Cabal Therapy. Cutting Duress is fine. I don't love Plague Spitter. I'll put a Vendetta in there. And maybe like 1 Hidden Gibbons instead of 1 Stupor. Something like that, okay? Or maybe we just put a Cabal Therapy back in instead of 1 Stupor, then we have like trimmed 1 of each discard effect. And we'll continue that by trimming 1 single Funeral Charm for a Hidden Gibbons, I think in this spot. Seeing the first copy of any discard spell is likelier to be better than seeing the second copy of like even a nominally better discard spell most of the time. So you could play that a few different ways, but we're hedged. It's the classic Grimflayer hedge. What are you gonna do? We got lands and spells. It's the classic rock keep. What are you gonna do? Not one we send back. Opponent has their discard effect still in as well, to some degree. They take Naturalize with Duress. That feels bad. Do we value getting the Furnace down? I suppose. Seems like an okay draw. Probably not as good as either of the 2 other artifacts. We'll see which one they're protecting with that Duress. Rack or Sprawl, or perhaps a Furnace of their own, I guess. More likely, of course, the first 2. And I was skeptical of our ability to beat the former in Game 1, but we did. Ravenous Rats, yeah. Let's just ditch Smother here, I think. Duress, yep. That's, I think it's safe to say that's a well-timed one. Let's see what they're working with. Double Sylvan Library. Oh, God. But at least they can't cast it yet. So if we leave their Duress, they're going to take away our front half of Call of the Herd. But, like, we still have 2 more Naturalizes to draw, too. Alright. Taking the duress, we are just kind of hoping, of course, they don't draw a green land for a little while. And then also thinking that if they do, the odds of us then finding one of our 2 remaining naturalizes in short order are kind of low. So we do fade the green land for at least a turn. We're rewarded for now. Call the herd pass. The elephant dummy beats were enough in game 1. Maybe they will be here in game 2 as well. Opponent just thinning out. And they concede. All right. This deck can lose to its own color screw, and that's kind of what happened there. We definitely got a little lucky, but we will take it. 2-0 in the mirror. Love to see it. A decent to great 7, depending on what we're up against, which is... Whoa! Zombie infestation or animate dead? What do we take here? Fascinating, fascinating. Let's take the discard outlet. We have naturalized to beat 1 animate dead. Zombie infestation could be a good value play against us if they have squee or things like that involved. We appear to be against some kind of dragon reanimator strategy, but with a dragon I've never seen before. A 9-drop, that's a cool one. Anyway, Ravenous Rat's definitely not looking that good at this moment in time, so I'm just going to say go. Tika's Dragon, how cool. Ritual. Sickening Dreams for 1, so yeah, we're making them spend a lot of cards to do what we would have done for them with, with the Ravenous Rats, right? So, yeah, I don't think it matters if you respond to the trigger or if you just let it resolve and then hit it. It's kind of fine either way. So now, unfortunately, we are just kind of ripping Calls of the Herd. And that'll be the play. Or, sorry, we are... I wish we were ripping Calls of the Herd. That would be better. We're just ripping Llanowar Wastes, so the play will be Call of the Herd. So 1 animate dead in hand. It is used immediately. I think the other 2 are unknown. Let me go back to my duress. Oh, they did have 3 swamps, so they are hanging on to a swamp. I wasn't sure about that one. All right, there's another Call of the Herd. I think we just go wide here. Wait till we find a Diabolic Edict or something. Well, that doesn't play with a Putrid Imp anymore, not quite. Premodern goes to the bin. Alright. Now we can Rats freely to get that last swamp out of their hand. For whatever that's worth. We'll serve with the elephants and then just play another Call of the Herd. So we are racing pretty effectively with some of our more dirtily cards. Obviously, a lot of reanimation targets would be soloing us by now. This isn't really one of them. But it's definitely not bad. Now, that's pretty bad. They draw Reanimate for Premodern. So what happens here? 5/6 exiles 2 target lands, and then a pump effect that they probably can't use. Okay. Pretty bad, pretty bad. I think they should have taken our Tainted Wood. Or our Swamp, not leaving us both, but yeah, that's pretty bad for us. And Cabal Therapy is a nice dead draw, isn't it? Nice dead draw. So, Curse Scroll, though, is not the very worst, because we get to potentially kill them with it. We're certainly warding off their attacks for the moment, putting them in a bit of a no-win situation, we hope. The Reanimate costing them 8 life was quite relevant compared to another Animate dead, of course. Call of the Herd. We'll play it. No attack yet, but next turn we might have lethal. Edict. Take care of our rats. Okay. So we should still have lethal here. Hold on. Turn off auto yields. Set a stop on our upkeep. Right? If we set a stop on our upkeep, we scroll them for 2 or we scroll Putrid Imp, really doesn't matter. Then 2 things connect. Yeah, that should be lethal. So let's guarantee it. Scroll your Imp. Cabal Therapy. Alright. Let's make sure there's no lifelink or anything odd like that. Flying Trample Rampage 4. Premodern. Just has a pump. That is lethal. We're squeaking over the line against Reanimator. Good stuff. Tormod's Crypt. Maybe Cursed Totem. Definitely Naturalize based on what we saw. We'll play Blackmail. And... I don't know about Vendetta. I really don't know about Vendetta. That's a maybe, I suppose, alongside Cursed Totem. So let's figure out what we don't like. I think trimming a scroll is fine, even though it was good there. Smothers are similarly questionable. I do like Diabolic Edict. This is just maybe not a Ravenous Rats matchup. What does our deck look like if we cut all the rats? It looks okay. I mean, maybe we trim a Stupor and call it good. We could definitely... Like, they might have white reanimation targets, so maybe we should just put a Soul Rend in there just in case, but I'm not sure we're supposed to do that. Maybe, I mean, Funeral Charm taking care of Putrid Imp is kind of why I like it a little bit more. I think this is fine. You could argue for 1 to 2 changes around the edges in a wide variety of different ways. We don't know enough about their exact list. It's a little less stock, so we can't necessarily assume more than we've seen. I think this is a totally fine one. We have to tread carefully with Tempting Worm here. Opponent will mull. So let's keep. I definitely like having the rack. They're down to 5. Good. Good, good. And Blackmail is unlikely to be bad. They're unlikely to show us 3 things at any given point with Blackmail that they want to go in the bin. They're down to 4. Okay. Thanks for playing. Thanks for showing up. Here's the rack. Let's not get arrogant. They can still beat us, but yeah. Against our deck, sometimes you just go to Oblivion and you know you can't get there. So we had everything covered, I think, that matters. We might not have even used Blackmail. Depends. But yeah, the rack, OP. And so is Interaction sometimes against a fragile deck. 6-lander with a Duress, obviously a keep. Is it, though? I mean, it has Treetop Village. Call me crazy, I'm going to keep it. I have a hunch that we're going to duress the opponent, we're going to take a crucial card, they're going to duress us back, they're going to whiff, and then we're going to curve out from there. Look, they're already mulling. This is the dumbest keep. I should not be rewarded for doing this. I'm just feeling like I just, literally, the truth, guys, I just didn't feel like taking a mull. And look, they got nothing. They got nothing. Neither do we, but minor details. But we take their counterspell, they've got nothing. A bird and 4 lands. Honestly, you just love to see it. You love to see the very bad keep rewarded. But it's anybody's game. We're both just playing off the top, obviously, and look, we're instantly rewarded with a curse scroll. Guys, I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it. Bad keep was bad. Sometimes the bad get lucky. And we even have triple Llanowar Waste in hand, so if we draw the 4th Llanowar Waste, we can play Forest and scroll the bird. Oh, we almost did. We drew Forest. That is funny. So we'll play it. And I think I'm just going to main phase our 75% chance of a kill. What a weird game 1. I would deserve to whiff on this, but we don't. Some people have all the luck. Alright, so they deployed City of Brass. Here's an island. Urza Saga basics. Beautiful stuff. And we just keep drawing lands, but that's alright. Do we fire up a treetop against 3 unknowns? I can't really tell what we're playing against. Maybe I should know, but I don't. I think the Coward's Path of the Scroll is fine for a turn. It's only a 1 damage difference, and I guess a 25% chance that we don't hit. It also allows us to answer the board, potentially, depending on what they do. And it allows us to time walk them if they were holding up some kind of a removal spell. Unlikely, but possible with City of Brass. Cloud of Fairies cycled. And they played the island out of their hand as well. Yep, still don't know what we're against. Maybe I should. Alright, we get him with the Lanny Wastes. And now we get to play Forest. Still no treetop attack. Same principle applies, and we're going to get to Funeral Charm them at an opportune time. And then we'll have deterministic scroll hits. Ooh. 5 mana. Seedborn Muse. Untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap step. That's a fascinating one. And it is a 2/4, so it's quite resilient to Funeral Charm and Curse Scroll, even combined. Can't take her down. And they're scooping to our Funeral Charm. Okay. Yep, I don't know what we're up against, so I'm going to treat it kind of like a control matchup. I'm going to play Blackmail, I'm going to play Hidden Gibbons, and I'm not really going to look up a list, although I probably should. I'm just going to go vibes-based. I think the vibes-based turn 1 nonsensical keep into an easy win makes me want to keep doing the same type of thing. And I don't want to sideboard too heavily because I think most of our stuff is going to be fine. I'll leave in the miserly one of Naturalize. Maybe, without seeing more, I'm going to cut a couple Smothers. I could live to regret that one for sure. I'm going to cut the Plague Spitter as well. Nah, that's not true. Against Birds of Paradise, do we do anything that I just said? Probably not. Let's just go Hidden Gibbons. Well, maybe Hidden Gibbons isn't even good. Maybe they're a lot more creature-based than I realized. Alright, scratch that. We're playing Curse Totem. Totally changing my mind. Curse Totem and Blackmail. Out come Rotting Giants. A slightly more control-oriented posture. We could even get like an Engineered Plague or 2 in there. I'm not sure it's correct. Let's play Vendetta. And let's just cut... Yeah, we will cut 1 Smother. Why not? Could go a wide variety of ways here, but again, we're going vibes-based, and maybe I'll look up a list if there's a game 3. OP keeping 7. This is the opposite. Before we had 6 lands, 1 spell. Now we've got 1 land, 6 spells. Vibes-based approach. Vibes-based heuristic dictates that we must keep, my friends. We must keep. We're just having fun with this one, obviously, but look, it's triple duress plus the rack. We also have Rats and Edict. This is an incredible one-lander if I've ever seen one. And I have seen some incredible one-landers in my time, believe me. We got a blackmail as well. I mean, can we lose? Yes, we can. Yes, we can lose horribly, because we only have 1 land. But still, opponent even emptying out with a Lotus Petal nice and early. Great Whale. Okay. Fascinating. Yeah, we'll just take the Oath. Interesting that they didn't play it, but we have, what, just the 1 answer to it? Yeah, we have both Naturalizes still on the bench. And they show us a land we did not know about. So we'll duress again. This one's probably just eating a counterspell. Or maybe they just let it hit so they don't have to pay the life. They just let it hit, yep. Okay. Another weird game is well underway. And yet another land that we don't know about. So let's go ahead and get the rack down. Under permission. We've also drawn Cabal Therapy. Oh man, it's too funny. We've got another rack. I mean, a second land would be great anytime, but we can't really complain. We knew what we signed up for. This one is absolutely hilarious. We gotta get the Great Whale out of there before they hardcast it, though. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's just therapy right now. It's just funny to keep drawing this parade of discard effects without the second land, because they are going to be bad pretty soon here. But for now, we get the Great Whale out of there, and they just have a Gaia's Cradle. Okay. Sometimes this game is just a little too goofy. But we're the ones making it goofy, right? And the rack damage begins. And it's not as damaging as Llanowar Waste has been to us, but it's still pretty damaging. And they're hanging on to lands. Little do they know we have a blackmail to take them away. Don't you love it? But first, we'll play another copy of the rack, I think is correct here. Of course, we're drawing yet another, reasonable 1-drop, but we can only do one thing at a time. Holy mackerel. There's the other City of Brass. Alright, well, do we blackmail for a guaranteed hit, or do we duress thinking they might have drawn... I think I'm going to duress here, thinking they might have drawn a a piece of permission or something like that, with which duress can trade. Indeed. Alright, rewarded. So, I guess there's one other unknown in their hand, isn't there? I think they've played all of their Cities of Brass that we knew about. Still can't draw another land, though, guys, so now we're down to... Now it's blackmail time. This is an outrageous game. Absolutely outrageous. Exploration, Seedborn Muse, Gaia's Cradle. Let's take Seedborn Muse. Thank you very much. Blackmail is amazing. 2 more from the rack. 15 all. Cabal Therapy? Sure. Take your exploration. Oh my god. What is happening? You couldn't make this up. I will not be surprised if opponent concedes at any point to this absolutely absurd game. What if they have 2 explorations in hand? I bet they did, and they concede. Holy moly, I've never been so rewarded for a one-lander in my entire life. Look at all those beautiful 1-drops in the bin. We go duress, duress, cabal therapy, duress, blackmail, cabal therapy, rack, rack. Those were our 8 turns. Not in that order, but you get the idea. Still don't really know what we were up against, some kind of creature-based combo deck with these untap effects, Great Whale and Seedborn Muse. Who knows what they're up to? I guess we'll never find out, at least not today. One lander on the draw on the blind. I mean, it's not a terrible one-lander. We have 3 different spells and then that we can definitely cast, and then 3 different 2-drops. This is going to lose us a lot of matchups, but so does taking a mulligan in the blind as a mid-range deck. So I'm also just here to kind of test the list, and I have seen a lot of like hands that I love. So let's take a little bit of a hit for science here, where we say, okay, what does a borderline one-lander keep play out like? Salt Flats. Oh, interesting, interesting. I'm gonna guess black-white control. So I'm actually just gonna play the rack here. I think I value that more highly than scroll when we're tight on lands. Duress, yeah. I was expecting Gerard's Verdict, but Duress is a thing, too. So if our Cabal Therapy lives, we've probably got to just name Vindicate to protect our swamp. It does not live. Got it. Another Duress, okay. Now they take Library, yep, okay. Ravenous Rats. Verdict, okay, we will pitch Smother and a Rotting Giant. Phyrexian Furnace. Oh boy. It's a good find, but I mean, come on, give us a land. Just give us a land. Alright, so far, not much from OP. And we do find a second land. It's black, of course, so Rats is the only play. But it's a pretty good play. Decree of Justice is a pretty good play, too. Make a soldier, draw a card. Another Decree? Good, good, good. Yeah, I think we are probably flashing back the Rats here. I'm going to name Exalted Angel. We don't have an out to it, morphed or otherwise. Eternal Dragon, Wrath of God. Okay. Those are some good ones, but Therapy Away or Tempting Worm. It's a good one as well. And then they'll cycle the dragon main phase and play a plains, I guess. They are playing into the rack that way, but it's kind of just like, it seems pretty unavoidable here for them. And then they'll get to buy the dragon back next turn unless we furnace it, which we probably should. Yep, so the draw Treetop Village is actually really nice, but we'll still begin with the Furnace here. Polluted Delta. Yep. Village and pass. Okay. Well, this is shaping up nicely. Again, I don't think the keep was good, per se, but also, like, going down to 6, which might not even have been a keepable 6 against this deck with the Gerard's Verdict and so forth, definitely would have been sketchy too. So while the keep may have been more on the incorrect side of variance or of decision making, it is I think more rewarded than keeping most 6s. So we Stupor the Wrath of God out of their hand, and now Rack and Curse Scroll can realistically win the race. We draw Plague Spitter. Yeah, I'm just casting that. As always, when you have the consideration between Spitter and Scroll, or not just Spitter, but like anything like this where you're choosing one or the other, it feels bad to leave a little Scroll value on the table. It definitely can punish you as well against certain things, but in our case, I believe we're being rewarded. And they don't, thankfully, have an Exalted Angel waiting in the wings. That is nice. Alright. Attack with Spitter and just play the rats to knock whatever that is out of their hand. They're about to take lethal, I believe, from the rack plus our attacks, failing a nice top deck. Okay. Well, let's see what they drew. They drew a Decree of Pain. That is a nice one. Oh man, that's a nice one, huh? Okay. Great top deck, but the opponent is still on the ropes and indeed just dead, to be exact. Because we will just scroll them main phase, no reason not to, and then they'll die to the rack. Okay. Well, pretty lucky, I guess, to get out of our one-lander, but not the, again, not the outcome that we could have expected probably from taking a mulligan. So I'm going to play Soul Rend, I'm going to play Blackmail, probably going to play Naturalize number 2. I think it's a Wasteland matchup, but I'm not sure about that. Maybe it's not, actually. We'll see what we want to get rid of. I'm kind of medium out here on Hidden Gibbons. Thing is, we don't really have bad cards, per se. Like, basically at all. So I'm just going to sideboard minimally. No Gibbons, no Wasteland. Trim a Cabal Therapy, got to make 2 more cuts here on the draw. I'm just going to play without Rotting Giant. I think I'd rather just compete over value. I don't think we need stuff like Tormod's Crypt, you know, until we see anything that's a little more out of the norm for black-white control. We will just be content as is. And, alright, this is an unexciting but very balanced 7. We will certainly just keep it. We've got a fair amount of awkwardness. Probably should have considered Smother a little more closely. I'm just kind of afraid of Exalted Angel. But Smother could probably have gone. I think it's better on the draw than the play, though. And they just take a Call of the Herd. Worth noting that we don't actually make black right now. So, to that end, we just play a Treetop and again in Sego. Opponent does not have access to white, it seems. Now they do. Main phasing and Eternal Dragon plane cycling. Play the planes. Send it back. Okay. Still no black. We draw Treetop Village number 3 for turn, but Call of the Herd it is. It's getting plowed. That's fine. And, you know, at some point our cards in hand are still going to be good in this matchup. Ooh, Dust Bowl. They gonna go for it now? With Call of the Herds in the bin, plus just the general strength of our lands, I think that's a good move. But thankfully we drew a swamp. So now we can get some rats down, and we're starting to punish them for going too hard on the Dust Bowl plan. But they weren't planning to go too hard because they sacked Dust Bowl itself. Got it. I didn't even look at that. Yeah, them having another one makes a lot of sense. I almost said that just now. Yeah. Sylvan Library is a beast. They just pitched a Seal of Cleansing. I think that's got to be our play. Decree of Justice. Yeah. Fine. Still just go in Library. Yeah. I mean, it would have been a time to use a potentially, like, not great Smother, but... Alright, no Dust Bowl. They might be rolling up Exalted Angel. Hardcast. They know about our Diabolic Edict, though, so probably not. At 23 life against black-white control, we are just drawing 2 no matter what they are. And we have so very many options, so we'll lead on Duress. We'll see if we want to go Rats, we'll see if we want to go Tempting Worm, we'll see if we want to flashback Call of the Herd. Decree of Pain, Wrath of God. Yeah, it's gonna be, take the Wrath. Play a Ravenous Rats, play a Tempting Worm. Incredible stuff. You love to see the worm hit the field when it is nice and safe. Sylvan Library, incredible there. Just drew us into a really, really, really good proactive turn, and even if the opponent can, like, scramble to catch up from this with the right top decks, they still have the Library just gonna bury them in value. So opponent could... Yeah, they could have cycled Decree of Pain in response, and then maybe drew something to play to the Tempting Worm. That could have been interesting. But they're just planning to do the Eternal Dragon thing. Got it. So Decree of Pain is still in hand. They did not make a land drop. So there's Dragon plus 1 unknown. Once again, do we just go all in? I think we do. Pay 4 life to keep in hand. Pay 4 life to keep in hand. Let's do it. Ravenous Rats. Gerard's Verdict goes down, so they have Dragon and Decree of Pain. I think we're going to flash back Call of the Herd. Get in for 6. Give them so very many problems. Keeping another Rats in the back pocket's a little better against the cycled Decree of Pain, and it's also better just to continue playing the value game as if and when they extend the game here. Stupor, okay. We're not going to go to 2 life, so we'll put Naturalize back on top. Tempting Worm back on top. And I'm just going to stupor them, but then they concede. All right, a crushing performance against black-white control. Sketchy keep, game 1, ended up getting rewarded. In game 2, we just never didn't have them beat, it seems. Absolutely incredible stuff. All right, we're on the draw with a keeper. We've got Rack, Rats, and Rotting Giant, the latter fueled by a Delta, all for a good fair game. We can also just slam Tempting Worm if that's what it calls for. Opponents, though, going Swamp into Funeral Charm. Okay. So we might be in a Rack Mirror. We need to keep the Rack at all costs. We're pitching a creature here. I think it's either Rats or Giant. You can make an argument for either. I'm going to pitch Rotting Giant. They go Nantuko Shade. Got it. Okay, so this could just be Moneyball. Rack is still going to be the play, though, either way. And I guess we better get black mana before we possibly lose a land to another discard effect of some kind. We do have Diabolic Edict rolled up to beat the Shade as well, which is nice. So them going land Ravenous Rats would be a little bit tough, because then Edict is no longer live, and then all that, and we don't want to lose another card, obviously. But then if they do that, we probably just go Tempting Worm. Instead, they go Ritual and Pump, so we're getting a hit for 6. Duly noted. Okay. Yeah, that is definitely scary, and I think that sends us the signal to just spend the turn edicting here. Again, there are other things we can do, but this is likely, no matter what they have, to be good. Whereas playing another spell, playing like something proactive, things could go wrong. Alright, and they just spend the turn fueling up the Shade, rewarding us for the Edict play. And now I don't know whether we play Tempting Worm into 2 unknowns. We maybe just go Rats into Scroll, which is incredibly good. With the Rack on field already. Smother. Yeah, a spell like that in their hand makes a lot of sense, so that's a reason, again, not to have played the Tempting Worm. Yep, so we're in total command here. I really don't know what they can have. 4th land into something like Graveborn Muse could be good. That's exactly what it is, but then again, we're still in a very good spot. Okay, Call of the Herd is great, but I'm just going to jam Tempting Worm in Treetop Village and see if they can beat this. They need to find, like, perfection off of Graveborn Muse plus natural draw step, I think, to get out of this situation overall. Oh, that was kind of funny. Their 2 old bordered basics were sandwiched between the new full art ones, but then when they untap, they reverted to a different form. Just MTGO things. Not that it matters, just while they were deciding what to do, I was looking at the lands, as usual. You know, what you want to do is not think a few turns ahead. Instead, you want to just stare at the art. That's how you play. That's how you do it. Yeah, I don't know what this means. It could mean, like, a Funeral Charm to trade or something like that. That's fine. Like, if they have some effect, that's fine. If it's a bluff attack, then we call the bluff. I really don't mind that whatsoever, because taking Muse off the field is big game if that's what they have. Yep, Funeral Charm. Oh, no, they put it on the wrong one. They wanted to make their own thing a 5-1 or a 5-2 misclick from OP. They had the right idea, but again, that would have been fine for us either way. So we draw another big high curve spell, so we cannot scroll the hippie, unfortunately. But again, we're in such a good position, it really doesn't matter. Just make an elephant and say go. Opponent. Yeah, they say oops about that. Yep, they had the right idea, they just misclicked. But again, we called that as a possibility, and we don't mind that outcome either. So either way, yep, they were done for either way, and it's on to game 2 against Moneyball Black. Yep, opponent confirms misclick. That's exactly what it was. So Wasteland has text, but I don't think I'm going to play it. Ditto Curse Totem. And we could justify a lot of these cards over here. I do think I want to get away from Duresses and Cabal Therapies almost completely. And like even a Stupor cutting one on the draw I think is fine just because it is slow. And with that in mind, I will play Blackmail. I think that might be better here, like Blackmails and Funeral Charms, just doing any kind of one-for-one trading and winning on card quality is live. And then we're going to probably keep everything else, so maybe like 2 Naturalize is about right instead of 3. And do we want all 4 Engineered Plagues? Maybe not. But then again, I don't know if we want both Hidden Gibbons either, so maybe we play like 2 Plagues plus a Plague Spitter, 1 Gibbons, and then we can get a couple of discard effects back in. I'll probably just play both Stupors and a Singleton Duress. Yeah, not sure. We need to see a little bit more maybe about what the opponent's on. And on the play, like Stupor and Engineered Plague, higher curve cards like that, they get a little better. In some ways. Our hand just, like, slams Tempting Worms and challenges them to beat it. With their mulligan, I think we keep and just, like, see if it's good enough. If nothing else, it'll be a fun test of, like, this side of the deck. Now, this assumes, of course, that we don't just, like, draw Duress to make it incredible or whatever. We only have 1 in post side, though, so that's unlikely. Okay, Funeral Charm, easy pick here of one of our Lanny Wastes. I'm just glad that was not a Cabal Therapy, because the blind name might well have been Tempting Worm. Were that so. Okay, another land. Treetop back to you. Aha, okay. So they play a land, but they don't play a creature. We kind of wanted them to play a creature so they couldn't end step a Smother or Diabolic Edict, and so that they wouldn't get as much value out of Tempting Worm. It is still reasonable to play Tempting Worm, again, because we are kind of scared of Cabal Therapy. But I think with the draw of Curse Scroll as well, our hand is starting to diversify enough that I'm just going to play a Rotting Giant. It's probably going to eat removal, and I think that's great if it does. And if not, well, we got a 3-3, and as the resource trades keep happening, it'll be good. But yep, it trades with Edict, which is awesome. So now we just got to fade a Blind Therapy on Worm, and we will be doing some stuff. There's a hippie, sure. We get to go worm into scroll, and that should be a lot better than a hippie, but hippie's no joke. Or worm into rack. I mean, what do we do? They're both too good. Part of me wants to not play a worm, but no, we have to play worm. We have to play worm. That's what our hand set out to do. Let's do it. We'll see how many cards they put onto the field, and that will inform our rack versus scroll decision. Man, this card is so cool. They put none cards onto the field, huh? Maybe we're still supposed to play the rack, because our hand is just a little clunky for scroll at the moment. But scroll is, like, really, really, really good against their deck in this spot. So, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see what hippie hits out of the hand here. We don't want to lose any of them. Down goes... Tempting Worm number 2. Yeah, not good. Surely there's no after-the-fact discard here. Now, Phyrexian Rager. Okay, good one. So maybe is the last card in their hand Swamp, since they didn't leave a Swamp open before? No? Okay. Maybe they were trying to leave back a blocker if they drew any other land. Regardless, we got a nice one. We get to go land, scroll the hippie, play the furnace. But with that being the play for sure, let's just attack first and not reveal that. Make their block a little less informed. They're snapping off the chump, okay. I really don't mind that. Sorry, I think I misspoke and said we get to play the furnace. We don't. So we could lose it to a discard effect, but that is no big deal. And you know what? I probably should have sided out, trimmed a furnace. I can accept that. Would be a little more optimized sideboarding. Again, it's never a bad one to have, but... Okay, they got a smother. Tempting Worm still did its job. Go ahead and scroll the hippie. Naming Furnace. Yeah, so the worm did not advance them tempo-wise, and it did trade with both Rager and Smother. So we came out well ahead on tempo now, and equal on cards, because Rager is a 2-for-1, right? Anyway. I think maybe with them not having any creature on board, we just take the turn off of scroll to empty our hand. Call the Herd an incredible pickup. Like, this card is just such good glue for the deck. It's just so beefy and proactive and value positive. Activate the furnace, send it back. Rack for 2. Nantuko Shade. Mm-hmm. Yep, really good. Unfortunately, we cannot beat it right here and now with the scroll as things stand. But if they attack, a trade, I think, is good for us. Or if we attack and they block, I think a trade is good. Let's keep the pressure on. Let's send in. They can block with Factory as well. In that case, we might have something to say about it with Curse Scroll. Funeral Charm, huh? +2, -1 until end of turn. Yep, that is just fine with me. So now we get to scroll the shade. Okay, scroll the shade, trade with the factory, so good. Play a swamp. Rack is going to trigger for 3. Doubt we can lose from here. Powder Keg would be scary if they play that. Even so, we've got... Oh, shoot, I F6'd. I was supposed to crack Furnace as well. I was going to say, even so, we have so many good top decks. I think we just play an elephant out of the bin here. And this time we will definitely crack the Furnace. Take the turn off, scroll. Maybe line up a 2-for-1 with Stupor if they're trying to hoard cards in hand against the rack. Indeed, that appears to be the opponent's plan, so we will spoil it, my friends. We will spoil it with a good old Stupor. Huh. Well, now we've got 2 of them. It's a little unnecessary, isn't it? No reason not to begin with an attack here. Stupor you. Opponent's dead on board next turn. We've got another Treetop Village to deploy. We've got the Curse Scroll. We've got another Stupor rolled up in case they somehow draw a bunch. Like, yeah, it's, I think it's over. I think it was over after that combat where we scrolled the shade. Opponent says, good games well played. We'll return the favor. And that is a nice clean 2-0 against Moneyball Black. Alright, friends, those were some really fun games. Once again, I have not had my love for this archetype diminished in the least, even after playing the exact same 75 through now 3 videos for you. I absolutely love it. That said, next time out, we will definitely, I promise, make a few tweaks. I think there are some weaknesses I'd like to address, potentially. Maybe even weaknesses is not the right word, but some slots in the sideboard, I'm looking at you, Wasteland, that have not been all that relevant. We can pare that down to 1 or maybe cut it all together. I remain convinced by the logic as laid out in my deck tech as to why Wasteland is a better fit here nominally as a sideboard option than it would be in basically any other mid-range list I've tried. That said, it still hasn't come up that often. I found myself feeling a little bit underwhelmed by the prospect of bringing it in, opting not to more often than I do, even if it is potentially live. So I'm going to be revisiting that and a few other things. As always, guys, I want your feedback, not only on the content in general, but also on the 75 here. You know, let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you would change. I'll come back with some tweaks in the near future. I plan on continuing to iterate with this as probably one of my main, if not my actual main deck in Premodern, and I might even have an article series I'll be writing on my thoughts as I explore the archetype further. So keep your eyes and ears open for such things, and thank you in the meantime for having been here, having watched all of this, and supporting this content in any way, shape, or form. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you very soon for more gameplay in Premodern. Until then, my friends, take care.